back to the old ways.
I've got some.
This next match is Cory and Topanga.
Yeah, we saw that one after they got married when they went to the honeymoon. Do you remember that episode? Changed everything.
Yeah.
She takes off the clothes and then she said, "That's it. There's nothing left." And then this is still Boy Meets World, and she's under the blanket. And she's nude.
I remember this.
Disney Channel.
I remember this.
This is TGIF.
That was Tyler Meets World.
Dude, yeah,
Tyler Meets World, and then Tyler excuses himself to the bathroom.
So let's see. Sean, Ryan, Skylar, and Tyler do a podcast called The Shoot Show. Yeah, I bet you guys were in a lot of shoots. So, yeah. It must be a really good show. A really, really good show. Must have at least, 8 fans? 8, what do virgins like to advertise? What's a virgin advertising demographic? Oh, do you guys kiss each other's hands? As Don Rickles would say, you hockey pucks. Nah, it's just a bunch of dumb names, too. A bunch of idiots. Both Raven, nevermore.
I'm buff, I'm the stuff, and the girls just can't get enough. And I'm always in a shoot. Tyler and Skylar, you fucking suck. But Ryan and Sean are great.
And that's a shoot.
All right, everybody, welcome back. After such a long time, the Shoot Show is back. Oh, yeah, listen to that fanfare. Listen to that fanfare. The crowd's going wild.
You guys suck.
Oh, it morphed into something completely. Yeah, anyway, yeah, we are back, and it's a good news kind of situation. We're happy to be back. This is the Shoot Show. My name is Ryan Clare. I'm here with two of my good buddies. First one up to bat, that's Double T Tyler Toops, man. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, sir. I'm excited to be here. It's been quite a long time since we've had a good excuse to get together and do the show. 2020 sucked. 2021 hasn't been the best, but damn it, we're here to bring it to you.
Man, we're trying to bring you the new, the fresh, the exciting, the cutting edge, and nothing. Stop it! I was being serious with it, but nothing sums that up quite like this guy right here. It's Skylar Blank.
It's been a while. I don't know any more words than that song. But I've been
You
so
really
long since I've
betrayed
seen
my
your face.
build-up. It has. It's been a long time, man. I think we just ran ourselves ragged building up to the Survivor Series, the Montreal Screwjob. It took so much out of our soul.
The screw job put all of us into therapy.
We didn't speak for a while.
The Rorschach tests, a lot of long evenings just staring off and wearing denim.
Hey, man, half of that ain't too bad. But in true Shoot Show fashion, we do know that we front sold a 4 out of 4 Shoot Show with our buddy Sean Rosenthal. We whiffed it. We do that sometimes, time to time. We couldn't get him on this time. We'll get him on sometime, though. Much love to Sean.
That's right.
But
it takes a team of lawyers to make that happen, and we're working hard on it.
It does, man.
We ran out of funds for our lawyers, so we're doing it ourselves now.
That last deal we brokered with the devil really bankrupted us, so I'm out of chicken bones.
Yes, financially and morally, yes.
But the train moves onward, and I've been working on these guys in the hiatus, working hard, trying to turn them against wrestling the way that wrestling has turned me against it. And we are trying to find the fun sides of wrestling, since there's so much weird shit to look at and feel kind of strange about these days. And this is a topic that really is near and dear to my heart. One of my favorite shows growing up. It showed me. I don't mean to get weird off the first of it. We may be
getting weird too.
I mean, one of the first things you think of as far as standout episodes, in my opinion, are the episodes that featured wrestlers of Boy Meets World. And there's a surprising amount of representation of wrestling in Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
Right, and I feel like a lot of other shows that might have made it light of it took wrestling much more seriously than you might see in other shows. I think they approached it from a place of respect.
I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling for a while, but I was allowed to watch Boy Meets World, so technically these were my first wrestling matches I got to see.
Exactly.
Well, TGIF. Thank you, Claudine.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Is that it was kind of a way. It was kind of like the proxy. It was the way around the internet filter of the time. You know, you couldn't go in the living room and watch wrestling with your parents, but you can go into the other room and watch your TGIF kids shows on Friday. And that's what happened. This is, if you're not familiar with Boy Meets World, in case you're not in this very narrow demographic that we're assuming. You may know the Wonder Years. That's the Ben Savage. Right? No, that's the Fred Savage.
Why would you name something older than Boy Meets World to try to tell people what it is?
Because we're talking about wrestling. You think we got a younger audience? I think we have an older audience. Maybe. I could be wrong. We'll find some shit. Wait, no, I have a tie-in on the backside. Don't worry. We got the Wonder Years in the 80s. A lot of people grew up with that show. His little brother, Fred's little brother Ben, had a very successful show. I would say maybe more successful than
Wonder Years was only 4
years.
years. And this was forever.
I know, but people talk about the Wonder Years the way they talk about
so true.
Everything tied to nostalgia. But I liked Boy Meets World more. It dealt with more in-your-face issues than the one. Well, I don't know. That's an argument for another day.
Yeah, that's.
But it was for our generation. It was an ABC program on Friday nights.
I was
part of their TGIF lineup. And do what now?
I was watching.
You watched it on Disney?
Reruns on Disney where they just show marathons. Oh. That's all they showed for a long time.
Well, you're a Johnny Come Lately. You don't deserve. Get out of this. Get out of this.
All right, guys. Well, it's been good. It's been good. I retained Iron Man status because I was technically here.
Shortest show ever.
But no, it was a show that started at around 93 and grew up alongside the characters, which is pretty cool. By 95 rolls around, they're hitting middle school, high school, and first episode up in the queue here that features some wrestling content is our buddy Cory is found his way onto the wrestling team.
Oh yes,
that's right. This is I believe season 2, episode 21.
This is the only one I didn't write down what season or episode.
So we're kind of jumping in hot and heavy here. You know, we gave you kind of an overview. I think everybody's at least tacitly familiar with Boy Meets World. So we're skipping ahead just a little bit. Obviously, we're covering 3 episodes today in 3 different seasons that feature the man called Vader.
Big Van Vader.
And I think it's appropriate that the first episode we're watching here starts off with Cory and Sean being approached by TOPANGAAA, who is working with the yearbook as they're drawing to the end of their first year of high school. And she's doing superlatives, doing things like that, and she's kind of highlighting that they haven't really done anything. They haven't really done anything with their year. They don't really have anything to show for it. And Cory blames the jocks for that. The jocks are keeping them from getting all the girls. Yeah, that's the issue. That's what's going on. It's not the fact that you're joined at the hip with your raven-haired buddy.
He's got much better hair too.
Way better looking Fred.
Ryder Strong was always the superior of the two of them, in my opinion.
I never even knew his real name.
What?
He was just Sean.
I mean, he lived with a cool teacher. His dad was a deadbeat.
He was the kid from the wrong
side. He always did get to do that cool thing where he jumps down out of that tree out there, and they'd be out there on the little patio area talking, and he would just jump down like a ninja. And he's been there the whole time. You've been listening the whole time. He's like, yeah, my feelings are hurt, but we'll still be friends later.
I'm gonna get on my moped and kickstart it as I roll away.
Moped.
But I mean, very quickly after that, the jocks come over and start accosting them, which just kind of backs up their point that the jocks are keeping them down. But it turns out that the jocks are just lifting them up to weigh them because they need a new member for their 108-pound super confetti weight class.
That's a total.
Which is just the most embarrassing thing that you could call it. It's like pussy weight or something. It's just the most bitch weight.
Threatening weight.
Yeah, I thought that would be featherweight or something, but...
Well, yeah, I mean, they even have atom weight in boxing, Jesus. Which is small, but still like not insulting. Super confetti is really, really insulting.
Yeah, even bantamweight. What is bantamweight?
That's even before flyweight.
And bantam's a kind of.
Oh, Jesus, that's more.
Yeah, bantamweight's.
And bantam's a kind of chicken.
Yeah, bantam.
So
exactly. Bantams are a type of chicken. They're the little chickens. We call them banties.
Yeah.
And they would attack you.
Little Jerry. But just off of the strength of the fact that Cory is small enough to be on the super confetti weight class, they just hand him a Letterman jacket and a singlet, which is amazing. And those also convey the services of Candy, who is played by Kelly Packard, you may know, who would go on to be on Baywatch, and also starred in a show called California Dreams, which was kind of a Saved by the Bell knockoff.
Wow, I didn't even. So this is why you're such a big fan of Candy.
Yeah, if you're keeping score, she's 6 years older than him in real life. So
I was gonna say
stands to reason that maybe she wasn't doing so well in high school.
Oh well, yeah. It's a very strange way that Cory finds his way onto the wrestling team. He's approached. I guess they thought
5
he would.
seconds.
He is about. They sized him up to be about 108 pounds the way they went. They lift him up, and then they just present him with everything. Just right there.
Yep.
Letterman jacket, singlet, and a ring rat.
And the girl. Yep. And the ring rat.
That doesn't age well, I feel like. Candy was not asked or really consulted.
It's strange. She's just like instantly pimped out. Like it's some weird package deal that just doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like it would fly.
She seems to be fine with it, but also, like you said, she is clearly a grown-ass woman at this point, standing in a high school. Yeah.
Well, what I also enjoy, somebody else who's down with this, is Cory's older brother, Eric, who we see not long after that as Cory's trying to convince his dad to sign the permission slip, which his dad, and his mom says, that sounds dangerous. His dad says, I think ballet would be more dangerous.
Well, I mean, really, if we're talking long-term, scarring and damage to your body and potentials for falls, I think that'd even out.
Yeah, well, and I mean, we get to see how physical they are because not long after that, they're in the cafeteria and Candy's trying to get Cory to smash a can into his head.
Yes.
Yeah,
which Cory attempts to do, and not only does it not work, but it knocks him into an old Jewish woman. Like, he's just like, Pat, I would like to solve the puzzle, please.
He does this a lot, Ben Savage does.
I appreciated that.
He goes in, I feel like he was raised around older people. He's got, like, very old mannerisms. Like, he knows old film and stage ways of doing things. It's very strange. I like it, but it's noticeable.
He went to Juilliard when he was like fucking 8.
Yeah, he's like, I grew up in Oxford. We get to see we get our first Feeney sighting. Mr. Feeney, obviously one of my favorite characters on this show, and if you don't know, was also the voice of Kit the car on Knight Rider, which is a fun little thing. But Feeney's class is interrupted by Griff Hawkins. Again, this is another great cameo by Adam Scott.
I had no idea that was Griff. I remember Griff growing up, but I didn't realize it was
who is 7 years older than Cory in real life.
Wow.
Yeah. Also, another grown-ass human being standing there, interacting with all of these other children.
Well, he was like, if Sean was the wrong kid on the tracks, then Griff was like,
Zach Morris.
That's true.
If you're familiar with Zach Morris, Griff is Zach Morris. Like this, he does the most Zach Morris things you could possibly do, like a back-to-back, which is he has arranged for a massage.
Yeah.
And then when Feeney kicks him out of the class, his cronies, Frankie and Joey the Rat, show up with some lobster that they have just come from the airport to bring him. I love that. I love that he sent him out to the airport to get it. Are we sure the show isn't about Griff? Could the show be about him?
It should have been called Griff Meets World, that's for sure.
Yeah, Grifton's, Griff Meets World. How do you guys feel about Cory's nickname?
What? I don't even remember what it was.
Oh, yeah. It was the Cory. Cory.
Yeah, it was the Cory Matthews.
You know what?
How has nobody ever used that? No one has ever used that in wrestling. Like that would get so good at getting heel heat.
I don't know. I feel like I would hate it. I would hate it
exactly.
so much.
That's the idea.
Wow. No, not even just like on a like a wrestling level. I would just be like, don't try to manipulate me with my love for that, you son of a bitch. So maybe yeah, absolutely they should use it.
And what we see in the scene they're at the restaurant that they would go to or whatever, the kind of hangout, the kids hang out. That like in the span of a day, Cory's entire life now revolves around wrestling. Yeah. Like he has no time for anything else.
Which is exactly how a 15, 16-year-old boy is. So I feel like they nailed that. Like I could change on the drop of a hat, especially if a girl was involved. I could see that happening completely. You are no one at 15. You have no values.
I like at this point the wrestlers all just start moshing when there's no music playing. Like they just get up out of their chairs at the restaurant and just start moshing in like the middle of the restaurant.
They were roughhousing. That's what that was. That's a good old fashioned roughhousing. You're horsing around with the boys.
And then Mr. Turner shows up to save Cory. I love that. Who started this, Cory? Who was the one doing this to you?
Yes.
Oh man, poor
Mr. Turner.
Poor Mr. Turner. Yeah, not to jump around in the timeline. But he got a tough break in this television show. He was the coolest guy possible. They like took a Sean Hunter and grew him up and gave him.
What happened to him?
Yeah,
he was in a horrific motorcycle accident at the end of one of the seasons. And then they come back and they just do him like the little sister on Family Matters. Just completely forget about.
Oh yeah,
there's just not
went
ever mentioned
upstairs one day and just never came down.
He got
at
moved
the end
down.
of the. Yeah, he got it moved to the other side of the school. Is how they explained it in the series finale.
The other side of the school, way over on the other side.
He was over there with Minkus, who is also forgotten. They put Minkus over in the shadows.
I like the logic that Cory has, where he thinks that he doesn't have to wrestle because there's nobody else in the weight class. Because that's how it works. You know, you only have to wrestle people at your own school on your own team. There's nobody else that weighs 108. I like that he thinks he could just be on the team without ever having to wrestle because nobody else weighs 108 pounds or less.
I could believe that. These days, they'd find some tough girl to come beat you up, Cory. You got to be careful.
They would have to saw both of my legs off for me to be able to weigh 108. I would have to be stumping it. But you know who does weigh 108 or less? Joey the Rat.
Son of a bitch.
Joey the Rat, played by Blake Sennett, who played Pin. He was in a band later on, but he played Pinsky on Salute Your Shorts, which was a fantastic show that I enjoyed very much.
That's crazy. I watched that show when I was younger.
I just narrowly missed that window of television, the Salute Your Shorts, and
what?
I
watched that.
Hey Dude, there was Hey Dude. I don't know. I didn't catch it. Bug Juice, that one's in the same era.
The Adventures of Pete and Pete.
So, now we actually have two 108-pound wrestlers. And in our first taste of Puro Resu that we get in this episode, Joey gives a pretty decent mistletoe dropkick to Frankie.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure is explicitly allowed in amateur wrestling.
I don't see why it would be disallowed.
At no point do they do actual wrestling on the wrestling team. It is literally just professional wrestling moves.
We do see like a heel pick kind of thing later on. That's as close as it gets. There's not a lot of know-how, a lot of cooperation going on.
This we get to see a match here, and Joey's got a good drop kick. We know that, but Cory's strategy is to hold on. Let me check my notes here. Move.
Oh. Okay.
So he just steps out of the way as Joey goes past him, and then Cory just holds him down for a pin. There's no move involved at all. He just pushes him down to the ground and holds him while Joey just lays there confused with his arms outstretched.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah, it
Done.
was. Well, I mean, that was
That's the win.
That was a heel pick. He grabbed the foot and it
our
threw him
first
off.
match.
It threw him off. And there was the equilibrium. That's what it was.
You shut up. Joey wants a rematch, but Cory is smart enough to know that he probably shouldn't give him one. So Joey does what all kids in high school do. He calls him Yellow. God, how many times have you been? If I had $1 for every time I've been called Yellow in high school, I would have $0.
Yeah.
Because that's like an Andy Griffith insult.
Yeah, the only time I ever heard it was
that's
the
like a
Wild
cowboy
Wild West
insult.
movie with
Oh, Yellow. Who said
Yellow?
Who called Yellow in
It's
that
gotta be.
movie? I love that freaking movie.
Yellow.
He called Will Smith that whenever they were hanging from that giant spider thing. It's like, yeah,
Nice.
Bella.
Coming up next week on the Shoot Show.
I love that movie.
May
That
Casa
movie was
X
amazing when I was
Casa.
younger.
Yeah, it was great.
We are then treated to a montage of Joey just finding very interesting ways to call Cory Yellow. Popping out of a locker.
Trash can, I believe?
Showing up at, trash can. My favorite one is when Cory's walking along in the payphone ring.
Yes.
And he picks the payphone up, and it's a collect call that he accepts the charges for.
Oh, man.
Is that how payphones work?
I don't
Can
think
you
you can do
accept a
that.
collect call
At the
on a payphone?
Oh, man.
Okay, I accepted it. Okay, put a couple quarters in, bitch.
Yeah, this is a generational divide. If you didn't grow up in the 90s or early 2000s with those collect call commercials that would just ingrain into CALLATT, you could call anybody you wanted to for free on a payphone, and I didn't understand that it wasn't for free on the payphone. And if I was at somewhere, I would just call home and just see if somebody would pick up. Nobody would.
See, you've missed a trick here, because this is how it would go, and it was like, you have a collect call from, I missed the bus, you need to come pick me up.
Oh, yeah, you do that. They did that in the commercial. The Bob, we out of baby, it's a boy. Yeah.
That's how it's done.
That's a nice trip down memory lane for everybody.
So finally, Cory's had enough, and he agrees to the match. But just as he agrees to it, Griff shows up to step in, just like any good GM would do, to set the match, which is going to be in the gym after school, because he has stolen the janitor's keys.
God, he's a son of a bitch, but he's so charming.
Yeah, I know, I was just going to say that. He's so charming.
Gosh dang it. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that could have been more of the episode. Obviously, I'm just falling for his spell, and I just want, like Tyler said, this to be the Griff show. But I want to see how he put all this together. How does he know these people? Who are the contacts he's calling? He had a ring built.
He's Griff.
Well, for sure. That's what, like, I was laughing because I watched so much Arrested Development lately that I can just hear Ron Howard's voiceover on things when they're getting ready to go in there, and Cory's like, well, at least it's not in front of the whole school.
The whole school was there.
But it was in front of the whole school. So yeah, the whole school is there, and the conceit of the ring is that they have a blue wrestling mat on the floor, and they've managed to get kind of I say wrestling rope, it's more like a boxing rope, and they put stools in the ring, which is decidedly boxing. You're not going to see stools in a wrestling ring.
I mean, maybe if you're doing a segment, maybe they had a little something planned. I don't know. I can't even defend it. I don't know.
But this is where we really get our first taste of star power.
Yes.
Because I'll be damned, Griff got Robert fucking Goulet to sing the national anthem in their school gym that he broke into. Like, it's great. It's really great.
Yeah, it's one of the secret formulas, I think, for good children's comedy, even though this is not this ages well, because you make references that predate the children. You don't call in the Justin Biebers and the kids that they like on Looney Tunes. They were referencing crooners that I had never heard of, and they were doing impressions of actors like Humphrey Bogart.
Right.
You don't know those names.
Rock Hudson. Yeah.
You don't know those names, but you recognize that this is show business, and this is the names and this is the traits that I should know. And that's kind of what they were doing in this episode. They like, what is that? I was 6 years old. Yeah, I don't know who Yasmin Bleeth is. I don't know who Robert Goulet is. I kind of knew who Vader was. I knew I played as him once or twice. But it was more of it's like using words kids don't know. They know that that's some shit they need to be in on. And I think that's what made it special. Because Robert Goulet, you could not have picked a better person.
I agree. If maybe like Mel Torme didn't answer the phone or something like that.
I mean,
like,
yeah,
you know,
Paul Anka's always a first choice, but you can't get him.
Alan Alda.
And I can't remember the timing of Will Ferrell portraying Robert Goulet on Saturday Night Live, but I think that was some years later. But that just played support to this episode now. Robert Goulet.
Goulet. But yeah, that's not it. Griff has also sourced a couple of VIPs, including Yasmine Bleeth from Baywatch, who they acknowledge being from Baywatch, which is kind of fun because Candy, Cory's current girlfriend, will be on Baywatch in a few years, which is just a weird crossover. Like, it's strange to think at this point like she was just some actress on this show as an extra. And Yasmine Bleeth makes out with Griff.
Yeah.
Man.
Like,
Real
God
weird.
damn,
He's
dude.
a high schooler.
This is, again, like, I need to know more about this guy. Like, fuck Cory. Like, what, you know. Let's see. How did Griff hook up with Yasmine? That's hot.
I mean, and yeah, that puts the ladies of Baywatch into a completely different category, into the child's eyes that's watching this. Then I was like, well, shit, maybe I got a chance with Pam.
Yeah, imagine Yasmine Bleeth like being on Baywatch and being like, I gotta fly up to Philly and bang this sophomore, you know.
Hold on, guys.
There's
Griff's
this kid down in
calling.
Philadelphia. Yeah, he's putting
Like,
together
wow.
a wrestling match at a high school, and gotta be there. It won't be at the 8 a.m. call time.
Yeah, not sanctioned. You know, it's kind of
underground,
kind of loosely put together. Yeah, raw underground.
God.
But the real VIP here, and the reason why we've put all these butts into the seats, is Frankie's dad. Frankie Stakina's dad. As they call him, 11 times heavyweight wrestling champion of the world, Vader.
Man. The reason we're here.
That's the reason
Like,
we're all
real
here.
indie shows don't have this kind of star power. When was the last time? Like, indie shows don't have Yasmine Bleeth. My goodness.
Well,
Yeah,
do they have Griff promoting it?
No.
Exactly.
They need him. I'm saying.
It should have been on Griff.
Yeah,
get Griff up there.
It had
the
to
man
be
called Vader.
It had to be an interesting process for them to have come across Vader, and yeah, I jumped across even name dropping Vader at the beginning of the episode. Thank you, Ty, for making sure everybody knew that damn reason we were here for. But yeah, they had to find somebody who looked like Ethan Suplee, and. How do you do that at that time?
Yeah.
And yeah, Vader, man, they hit it out of the park. This guy is just a natural fit for it, and he's that perfect gruff.
And he's so great, man.
He's
like,
perfect.
he does such a good job.
WWE.com.
He does not at any point seem uncomfortable.
No, he seems completely in his element. WWE.com has a great interview with the creator of the show, Michael Jacobs. And yeah, they talked a little bit about, you know, their process of deciding for the character and what they had to consider, and they decided almost immediately that Frankie's dad had to be a villain. You know, it couldn't there's a little bit of an explanation for him being a bully, but there's also that fun shit you get to play with him being such a poetic heart. And then you find a guy named Vader who looks as terrifying as he is. And Leon White had that ability to almost look vulnerable. In his face, he looked like a cute bulldog.
Yes. So
and I don't know how he did it. It was that James
this-
Gandolfini effect. He could do the same thing. He's vicious and scary, but he's also a vulnerable sweet boy.
Well, at this point in time, Vader was working with WCW, and he was the U.S. champ, and he actually has that belt on when he comes out, which is cool. He big man steps over the fake ropes to thank Bob, as he calls him, Bob Goulet. And he immediately launches into a promo. Like, he does not, he wastes no time. I'm not going to try to even do the Vader voice, but I like that he already knows Cory. He just calls it, Matthews, let me tell you something. If Joey don't get the job done, Vader will.
This is not the first time he threatens a high schooler in these episodes.
He says, I am fear. And Cory just casually says, I'm sorry, sir, I didn't get your name. which is a hilarious way to respond to a scary promo.
That is
like, that would stop anyone in their tracks.
That's the most Lebowski response you could possibly. I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. Like, how do you do that?
It's like a dude response. Yeah, that's how you get a coffee mug bonked off your head. Right before the match starts, Eric comes into Cory's corner and tells him that he got a ticket to the event, which we learn the name of the event is called See an Idiot Get Pounded.
Yeah.
Which could attract the wrong kind of clientele. But Eric says he spent $50 on his ticket. Jesus Christ!
I took issue with that so hard because
that's $1,800 in today's money.
I mean, consider it is 1995. Things have changed. $50 in 1995. Let's see if there's a difference. We can look that up.
$50. Like WWE shows or WWF shows in 95 are like $11.
My dude, $50 in 1995 is $87. Get right out of here, man.
It's right now. It's $2,800 exactly.
Yeah, for a damn it's a outlaw mud show at this point, and they just got the one guy.
Yeah, there's one match, and nobody even knew Vader was going to be there, so it was literally like 208-pound guys in an amateur wrestling match, Greco-Roman wrestling.
Let me tell you,
match.
I've been to wrestling shows where
that'll put butts in
the
seats.
sound of the ice cooler that they were getting, the canned drinks they were selling, was louder than the crowd. You can hear it across. And I think I wouldn't have spent more than the $10 that got me and Michelle in there. The $87, buddy. Come on now. Oh.
So, Sean inadvertently rings the bell, and it's time for your main event.
Oh man, yeah, Sean. There's the bell sitting there right in the corner. There's a string hanging from it. And what does this string do? Yank.
Ding ding.
It's a good bell though. I feel like that's the most expensive piece of equipment they've got there.
They immediately forego any kind of amateur moves and just begin wildly lunging at each other, which never drew a dime.
It's stupid. You couldn't even do like a test of strength. A little something like that, a little arm drag, something you could teach them in one day.
Well, they don't really know how to work a crowd.
So we get,
it's their second match technically.
No, agreed.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, the action gets heavy quickly. Matthews goes into the turnbuckle. We get a kick. He gives a kick to the rat. Matthews with the carry and drop slam, and he hits a second turnbuckle Brett's rope splash, and then Joey tags in Frankie.
Yeah,
past Frankie.
It's a bad time.
I don't believe that there are tag matches in amateur wrestling either.
Well, player, you see, this is an unsanctioned match. We didn't mention that up at the top. Yeah, right. If you beat the rat in a regular match, you got to face 3 big dudes in an unsanctioned match at night with Yasmin Bleeth and Robert Goulet player. And yeah, like you said, Frankie gets tagged in. Cory goes for the quick escape. He's going to take himself a quick powder. But Eric is there and trying to get him out of the ring, trying to keep him safe. But what happens is he gets tagged in. And yeah, Eric, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm assuming everybody's as big a fan as I am. His brother Eric's there, played by Will Friedle, sleeper talent of the show.
Yeah, dude, definitely.
Okay, good deal. Shut up, Skyler.
Phoenix!
Why you telling me to shut up? I just called him a good brother.
Oh, I thought you.
And
I'm sorry, Tyler. You pull Frankie pulls Eric in, and this is where we see what could have been some actual wrestling training that has gone down.
For sure, Eric immediately launches into heel tactics.
No, Will Friedle, like from the get-go, is helping. He's halfway through the second rope. He gets pulled in, launches through the pull, makes Frankie look strong as shit. Yeah. Hits the opposite rope. Throws an incredible headbutt. Looked great.
Well, first off, he hits him with a poke in the eye.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. The Captain Insano. The poke in the eye.
Yeah. And then he follows it up with a headbutt, which is just heel move after heel move. Like, who are we supposed to be cheering for
exactly,
here?
Yeah.
It's just, there's no ring psychology at all.
I mean, I kind of liked it because I didn't know what grounds I'm standing on. They don't have an existing storyline, so I think that's fine in this case.
Well, yeah, business picked up when Eric got in.
Oh, man.
That's for sure.
An incredible showman.
He definitely watched some WWE.
Yeah, where is the ref through all of this?
I don't think there is a ref. This is an unsanctioned match.
No ref. Who's going to count the pin?
It's
I feel
honor
like they
system.
thought-
Honor
what's
system
her
in
name?
Philly. This is a fucked up city.
Cleet.
Yeah, I feel like Griff potentially screwed over these people in the crowd.
Yeah, this was a screw
Are
job.
you going to confront Griff?
Except,
But
I mean, yeah, what are you
no,
gonna
I
do?
guess not. Not to be outdone, though, Vader asks for and receives the hot tag.
What, it's a 3-way tag now?
Yeah,
Or a
Vader
3-man
gets
tag?
in and he takes up about 60% of the ring when he gets in there.
Yeah.
Like he's touching two turnbuckles at once. And he immediately goes to like gorilla press slam Eric, which is like his go-to move when we see him on these shows. Like that's the first, he's just gonna hold you up in the air, and like he's preparing to kill a child.
I think Will Friedle is about the same age as Adam Scott. So in real life, this was probably
Yeah, but
the
we're
reason.
kayfabing here.
Yeah, the reason they did this. Shit. Look behind the curtain. The reason they always abused Will Friedle is because he's the only one that wasn't a damn baby. And he's the only one that was like, well, yeah, you could put me through that, onto that splash pad just out of frame. That'll be fine.
He had great hair.
He had beautiful hair and great instincts when he goes into that gorilla press. Crosses them legs up. Keeps it rigid. Good stuff.
But oh shit, it's Mr. Feeney.
Man, Feeney arrives on the scene. He is wearing
Hops the top rope.
He is wearing a cardigan that is buttoned top to bottom. He is fucking suited up.
He has got a Mr. Cotter signature series outfit on from head to toe. You could see that guy walking down the street, and you'd be like, "That guy is a teacher."
That man right there could recommend a hot cup of tea. Watch him walk in, and he hits the ropes, like you said. He
jumps. Yeah, he
elegant,
hops the top rope.
Graceful, some shit I couldn't do. I remember being a chubby kid watching Nacho Libre and thinking, like, damn, I couldn't get over the ropes like Jack Black did. I sure as shit couldn't get over the ropes like George Feeney did right here. Those ropes are like waist high, and he just single leaps it.
Yeah, and I would have to imagine not very sturdy, considering they were just posts.
Yeah, so he had to get some spring behind that. He wasn't pulling the ropes too much.
Yep.
Fantastic. Probably the most impressive thing in the episode.
How have we gone on so long
Well,
about this
and
one
you know,
episode?
Feeney, Feeney's not there to be physical. Feeney's there to be mental. He plays the mental game. He's like Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Oh, yeah.
And his secret weapon is that not only does he know Vader, but he taught Vader when he was in school. And very quietly whispers that he knows that his real name is Leslie.
Which is not that much better than Francis, so I don't know what he's so worried about. Or not much worse, I should say.
Yeah, they retcon that name in the going forward. Yeah, I think that's the only time he's ever referred to as Leslie. But yeah, that's enough to back Vader down. Just the chance of having his real name be known. Again, kayfabe. He doesn't want that.
No.
Man.
And he says he's gonna leave, but next time it's gonna be a loser leaves town Texas death match. And Feeney just goes, "Yeah, whatever."
Yeah.
Feeney
just blows him off.
that match.
I love it. Feeney's just like walks away like hanging birds behind him like Stone Cold style. So, with that being done and over with, we end the episode with Cory giving back the jacket and the lifestyle. In the end, he steals Topanga's lame-ass yearbook quote. She tells him what quote she's going to use, and then he's like, "Oh, yeah, I'll use that one, too." You suck, dude.
They tried to make it sound all sweet, but no, it was just...
What a loser.
He should have gone with something else.
Horrible decision because at this point they were hinted to be one of those serious couples, but it wasn't
desperate much.
It's like say season 2. You're signing yourself up here, buddy. Like let's save a little something for high school. This is middle school. I hope.
But Then we get a post-credit Avenger scene, post-credit scene where the four of them, being Cory, Griff, Frankie, and Joey, are all in detention. But not to be outdone, Griff has gotten Robert Goulet to sing for them. Amazing.
During detention.
Amazing.
Yeah. This is where it gets into some strong Saved by the Bell territory, and we got some Zach Morris behavior because you've never done detention with Griff.
Like, Griff style.
Who is this guy? What kind of drugs is he selling?
Yeah, so that was the first episode, and it was a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that one.
Yeah, that was.
It's just a quintessential Boy Meets World episode from start to finish.
It was such a strong showing for Vader in a time where, in the mid '90s, Vader he had already been all over the place. He'd been wrestling Japan. He'd been, I think he like you said, with WCW, but around 95, 96 is when he was moving from WCW to WWF. And so this was like a strange time. Will we get more Vader? Yes. The answer is yes. There will be no suspense there.
Yep. And you're going to get it right now.
Oh, shit. Yeah, man. We're separated. I think we're a season apart each time we get our 3 appearances of Vader, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. The next episode is Season 3, Episode 13. This one's called New Friends and Old.
Okay, yeah, this was just a brief appearance, right?
Yeah, this was a fairly brief Vader appearance. The kind of conceit of this episode is that, Cory and Sean have been tricked by Joey and Frankie. Joey gets his dumbass suspended, so we don't see Joey in the entire episode. But Frankie, feeling down and kind of dejected, doesn't really know what to do with himself. Cory and Sean end up being his friend.
Yeah, and this is after a season of a little bit more development of the Frankie character. He's gotten to be the poetic, kind-hearted, but still scary bully all this time. Yeah. So
I don't want to gloss over that we do see Vader in the the beginning and the end of this episode is the only time we see him, because we see him in the beginning when Frankie is in Feeney's office, and Vader is in a suit. And my God, there's a lot of material.
Is that a double-breasted suit, or it's just?
That is a quadruple-breasted.
There's
suit.
a lot of breastises in that suit, man. There's a lot of material going on.
Vader again just cuts a promo on Feeney about Frankie's behavior, and he's, my boy, he's gonna toe the line, and then he just barks at him. I like that. I don't really remember Vader barking, but he does on all of these episodes, which I think is a fun little. A Boy Meets World version of Vader barks.
Absolutely.
Which is good stuff.
Yeah, Feeney is not going to handle this kind of chicanery in his office. And Mr. Stachino, there's no need to balk.
There's a great gag in here where Frankie and Vader go to leave, and you realize that the mom is standing behind them. You just couldn't tell because they're both so big. Oh, man.
She's so tiny. And yeah, George Feeney. Mrs. Stachino. I'm so sorry.
Stachino. Frankie has a really funny style of talking where he talks like what you would expect a mobster to sound like a stereotypical mobster. Frankie has a really funny line when he comes up to Cory and Sean where he's, his buddy Joey has been suspended, and he says, I walk alone in this world, except for the grilled cheese sandwich in my pocket.
Yeah, he's a very poetic soul. He is. He's sensitive, and he has such a deep love for his friends and family.
And Cory panics and offers to be friends with Frankie, and this sets the tone for the episode, which is unexpectedly being friends with Frankie Stachino carries some benefits with it.
For sure. He's known as an enforcer, Frankie the enforcer in the school, and all these 7th graders who he's used to picking on are still looking at him as the powerhouse they've had to deal with, Joey the Rat or no Joey the Rat. So now he's just got 2 Joey the Rats with him. Nothing's changed for the little one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was whenever they had to like was it around this part whenever they walk into Cory's house and Frankie no? Okay, sorry.
No. Go ahead.
What?
Frankie just invites himself over to Cory's house. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And then even when he gets there, he like forces and asks Cory's mom if Cory can stay the night at his house without even Cory knowing. I thought that.
Yeah. It's a very like, good afternoon, Mrs. Matthews. I would like to tell you that Cory is coming to my house for dinner and meatballs.
Yeah, he's the most terrifying Eddie Haskell type figure that could be conceived. And it was strange to me how people would just show up unannounced at main characters of TV shows' houses all of the time. Even first thing in the morning, there'd be some friend of the main character there. You know, when at my house, if somebody showed up at first thing in the morning, it would be an event, and someone would probably like be screamed at. That person wouldn't be welcome. The mornings at my house were not happy. But yeah, we got Frankie Stacchino showing up. Mrs. Matthews, I would like to take your son into my trailer.
And like, you know, towards the end of the episode, the way that it ends, we get to see Vader again. Like, Cory and Sean, you know, Frankie realizes that they're using him, and they end up kind of having to smooth things over with Frankie. You know, and I think they come to learn that, you know, Frankie's not that bad of a guy. He's just misunderstood.
Yeah, and Frankie starts to notice that these guys are taking advantage of his status within the school and just using the little scared children as errand boys. And he's knowing that he's not seeing the growth that George Feeney had told him that he would find when he got new friends. So then, like all characters on Boy Meets World, he's got to get a little guidance from the Feeney, who tells him to stand up against the two. Don't let them push you back into your old ways. And this was a weird departure from the normal Boy Meets World formula, because we have Sean Hunter making the moral realization that what they're doing is wrong. He's usually the scumbag, but he's been out scumbagged this time, and it's looped him around.
Didn't Mr. Turner's arc somehow help him also realize this?
That's what it was, and
which we totally skipped it.
Yeah, Mr. Turner,
it features 0% Vader
of all time. Yeah, that's what happened. Sean sees that he was wrong about a girl from his past and how she had come along and she had grown. So he's like, man, we're robbing Frankie of this opportunity to do the same for himself. So that's where they come back and they stand up with Frankie among all the children and say, there's no reason to be afraid. But, you know.
They don't believe him.
Yeah.
He's showing his teeth, run!
Yeah, he can't even smile without scaring the kids. And that's what you get for bullying children. He's not a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kids aren't going to fall for that. I like the idea that 7th graders aren't necessarily scary, but when you get 4 dozen of them together, you know, they just all their forces meld together.
Yeah, I feel like everybody probably had that same thought. It's like I think I could have handled like 6 of them. You know, if I knew they're all coming, I think I could have handled at least 6 of them.
Yeah, I feel like I could fight off a few coyotes, but definitely not like a dozen.
Coyotes aren't that big. They're spindly, more so.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I could kick the shit out of the first 2.
They're so fast.
That ran up on me. But yeah, eventually they're going to overwhelm you. Like Kramer in his karate class. But at the end of the episode, we get to see Frankie, Cory, and Sean in the kitchen at Cory's house, and Vader busts in, and he has his wrestling singlet on backwards.
Yeah, it's a real strange. I think that he's done this at several shows actually.
And he's wearing a made up belt because he is not currently champion of anything. And he challenges Cory to see if he can take that fake belt from him. Again, he just immediately challenges a child to, oh, you think you could take this from me? Be like me with this this European championship belt that I have.
Well,
Think you could take this European belt from me that I bought at Toys R Us, which isn't even a fucking thing?
I truly do believe that replica belts should be exempt from any sort of theft policy, because if you take a belt out in public, you should be prepared to defend it from anyone. So if somebody knocks your ass out and takes it, then you can't file a report. But at the same
Make
time,
myself dizzy doing D'Lo Brown head
yeah, that'll hurt you, man. We're getting up there. I threw my neck out last week. I'm not doing D'Lo head. They really.
I got.
Yeah, we're all falling apart here, boys. We need to be careful.
Yeah, I currently have mono. If you're keeping score, so we're all having a blast. We've been kissing, and I just now told these guys that I have mono. So
shit.
Enjoy that, boys.
Worth it. They really need to get.
That's why I was so
deadbolt.
interested in kissing you.
They really need to get a deadbolt for this back door, because there's grown ass champions busting through like the Kool-Aid Man, and we need to draw attention to the fact that this man says that he's a champion of multiple promotions at this point. It would have to be, and his children are living in not a horrible place, but he certainly doesn't seem to be well-to-do. Where's that money going?
The same trailer
Leon?
park that Sean lived in. Yeah.
Is it the same trailer park?
I hope that town doesn't have multiple trailer parks. I
feel like Philadelphia's have plenty of trailer parks.
I was gonna say, Philadelphia.
I'm from a small town in Arkansas. We got several.
I would have liked to have seen the crowd in the first episode just be like bloodthirsty ECW Philly fans and just like, cut him open! Like Natural Born Killer starts playing and New Jack comes wheeling a fucking shopping cart out like, oh no.
We see that one fan that always had the round sunglasses with the long hair.
Him and his mom. Speaking of moms, Cory's mom is not at all impressed by any of Vader's bravado. And I believe that she also knows that his name is Francis and calls him Francis.
Yeah, see, you never act this way at the PTO meetings, Francis. And it's because he's a regular dad like the rest of us.
That's great. And we end this episode with, yet again, Eric up in the air, being prepared to be power slammed by Vader.
Excellent.
This is the second time, yeah. Eric's been taking a lot of bumps.
Yeah, great guy. Love him. Should have went into wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, there's a precedent for a Savage, the person who plays the brother on a show starring a Savage. Jason Hervey, the brother on the Wonder Years, was good friends with Eric Bischoff and spent a good time in WCW. Where's Will Friedle at? Damn it! Get him involved.
Oh man, Eric Bischoff. We'll put some love on him at the end of the show. I don't want to just distract you. Okay.
So, you guys, now we're on episode 3. This is the final episode that we're gonna talk about.
The Vader trilogy.
Yep, this is gonna cap off our Vader trilogy. We're gonna do 5 more episodes about.
Yeah, man.
This is gonna be like a Road to Vader on Boy Meets World. Again, we're skipping to the next season. This is season 4, episode 9. By the way, you can watch all of these on Disney Plus. That is how I watched them. If your brother has a subscription he wants to let you use. This episode, this episode is my favorite title. It's called 16 Candles and 400-Pound Men.
Oh man,
which I think is a porno.
Yeah, I wouldn't Google that with Safe Search off. This was let me just jump right out of the top. This was not my favorite episode of the ones that we watched. I hate this kind of structure for it, whether it's in a TV show or a movie where you got to be in 2 places at once. It's what stressed me out in Mrs. Doubtfire. It's what I mean. Well, I'm trying to think of another example and I'm blanking, but Mrs. Doubtfire is definitely the worst one.
Three's Company was built on episodes like this.
Yeah, I think Family Matters did.
Jack Tripper almost went to every single event, was going to 2 places at once. But as we'll get to later on in the episode, there's a very specific reference that they have for this, as that they lifted this entire plot from. But yeah, this episode starts off with Cory reading a poem about someone who reaches out for an unattainable love. And that hits a little too close to home for our buddy Frankie Stachino. One-time bully, current, erstwhile frenemy of Cory and Sean. He's kind of like a Vegeta, where he starts off as a bad guy, but, he becomes like a lovable anti-hero. And And, Frankie basically says he too has someone that he loves that, doesn't understand him. And Cory decides to help him in that quest for love.
Yeah, and they're thinking
if he can help them with their poetry assignments. So it's give and take. He's never going to do anything just out of the goodness of his heart. He's expecting something in return.
right. Yeah, that was my immediate thought at the beginning of this episode, is that they've built this relationship over the course of several years now. Cory sees Frankie is upset. What's the matter, big guy? But no, it's a trade of services here.
Yeah. Oh, you need to tell somebody that you love them. Well, I guess I could help you out with that if you'll help me with my homework. You fat piece of shit.
Every Witcher has his price. But it's a pretty simple trade. We'll help you get the girl you're wanting. Obviously, you're talking about a girl. If you help us in class, because Mr. Turner's really riding our butt, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. Like I like the idea if you lived with your teacher, he'd be like, "Are you gonna do your homework?" It's like, "Hey, fuck you, man."
Oh God. What?
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. You and the platonic relationship you have with that black guy you live with, Eli. Something's going on there. So then they decide to help Frankie, and they go to the trailer that Frankie lives in. When it's like, really? Like you're saying, Frankie lives in a trailer? Come on, man.
Vader?
His dad works for
that guy in
WWF?
WWF?
Yeah.
He's about to be a main eventer.
That's the big difference going in, and we can establish that off top, I guess, is that things have changed in the real life for Vader. He's now with WWF, and he's not a champion at the time, but still, he's not out of work. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for them to not be doing well.
They must have, because they were going to give Vader a WWF title match at one point with Shawn Michaels, and did it actually happen? Or because I remember the whole Shawn squashing it, and this is real life, but they were like playing into that in Boy Meets World about him facing Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, well, the match that he has is to decide who gets to wrestle against Shawn Michaels. Imagine that.
Yeah, and the first thing that's noticeable is like all of the actual names that they're dropping in locations where we're talking about Philadelphia, we're talking about the Spectrum, and like you said, this could have went a completely different way if they would have gone the ECW path. I'm so glad they didn't.
That would have been so good.
But Tyler, as you set up, they're over at the Stachino residence. They're looking to do some poetry analysis. A big night for these high school boys. And they bring up the subject. Frankie, who are you after? Whose love are you chasing?
Yeah.
And
who's
just
the lucky lady that you're gonna smother?
And wouldn't you know, the door opens and in comes the rustling gym bag of none other than Vader himself. It's Daddy's
the man
home.
they call Vader.
Yeah.
Still wearing his mask, I believe, right?
Yep.
He comes in and Frankie's face just lights up. Hello, Father. How are you? It's like, can I show you the collection that we studied in poetry class today? And he's just not happy about it.
We get to see Frankie's kid brother Herman, who is vowing to carry on the family tradition.
And he's just as well spoken.
Too late. Yeah, it's too late for way too sensitive Frankie. But his little brother even talks like Frankie, so there's really not a lot of hope there in my mind. Even his woofing isn't that great.
I believe this is the same kid from Jingle All the Way. He played Phil Hartman's son. He's the kid that got the Turbo Man.
Yep. That's a can of Coke to you, man. That's a
all right.
Cory thinks that Herman's cute. Vader doesn't take too kindly to, I guess like a boy showing interest in his son.
Yeah.
He says he remembers Cory and he promises to crush him like garlic to put him in his spaghetti because that's what a 90s promo wrestling threats on TGIF sound like.
I feel like that was an extremely specific, almost dorky line for a promo, so it's probably real. He probably actually did that.
Well, and you might be right because Cory says he remembers that line from one of Vader's promos against Psycho Sid. And just like that, Vader loves Cory. He's no longer going to crush him like garlic in his spaghetti. Vader tells...
You saw that one match?
Yeah. Vader tells Frankie that he should be more like Cory as he leaves. And a crestfallen Frankie proclaims that he still loves him And then this is finally Cory puts 2 and 2 together and realizes that Frankie is, it's his dad that he's talking about. Subtle.
Yeah,
Very subtle.
which is going to be considerably harder than, saying maybe buy her a bracelet. So now you're going to have to navigate that entire relationship. And what they figure out is that the key to old Big Van Vader's heart is wrestling tips.
That's
because
right.
this world-renowned wrestling champion, who's 11-time champion, self-proclaimed, he says right now. He needs some casual pointers from a few high school guys.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and Cory whispers to Frankie to tell Vader that he's taking too much time setting up the Vader bomb, and he just needs to go ahead and do it immediately. So to hell with the fanfare, just immediately try to do a Vader bomb on somebody at the start of the match. And that shit blows Vader's mind. He had never thought of that.
I thought he meant like he was taking too long to climb the ropes and sit down on them for the Vader bomb. That's what I thought he meant. You're taking too long to set up that Vader bomb.
That's a way more intelligent point to be made, but I don't. Vader failed to take it that way.
No, because once you leave the ropes, that's when the power starts building. And you have to give it time to fill the gauge. And then you jump off. That's how wrestling works. We all know that.
So, that Vader is very happy with that advice. And because of that, he wants Frankie in his corner when he has his match coming up. And Frankie can't do it without the help of Cory and Sean, who Sean had nothing to do with any of this. But they all get themselves, so Frankie and Cory and Sean are going to go to a wrestling match. And that's it. That's the only plans that Cory has.
And it's not like a small deal. I was so annoyed with this episode because they weren't even excited about really going and being ringside. I mean, they kind of were, but it was like, oh, cool, another cool thing in our fantastic lives. I would have screeched for 30 minutes straight. You'd have told me I was going to be ringside at the Spectrum with Jake the Snake Roberts and Van Vader. Mostly because I was 6 years old. But if I'd have been their age, exact same way, probably. I don't know. But they take it as, business as usual. We'll go help this world famous wrestler NBD.
Yeah. Those are our plans for the weekend.
Yeah.
Whatever, this ain't even my whole night.
Well, and to that end, the next day at school, Topanga gives Cory an invitation to her Sweet 16 party.
Yeah.
And she's overly anxious about him going, which is weird because he's her current and longtime boyfriend. So I think it kind of goes without saying that he would be at her Sweet 16 party.
But he's so small potatoes about the big wrestling match he's going to be about. He says he'll be there. And doesn't even consider the fact that his Friday's already tied up. Like, what else is going on, Cory? Shit.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's the same night. So if you've ever watched a sitcom, if you've seen one episode of any situational comedy that ever aired, you understand where this is going. And that is reinforced later on in the episode when Sean brings over a VHS copy of the Flintstones episode that this plot is lifted from. And this episode gets real meta here because they're watching this Flintstone episode and planning out how they're going to how this episode is going to parallel that.
Yeah, they all but winked at the camera during this. It was like, but this is a television show. Time is compressed. They cover many days over the course of 30 minutes. It was like, no, trust me, this will work.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
No,
yeah,
trust me.
Sean has taken detailed notes on this, and his understanding of it is you can't spend more than 75 seconds at each location. Which
is not a terrible plan, but it's a terrible plan, and that shit will never work.
It's a terrible plan. Sean says the party is 0.3 of a mile from the match. So I don't really know Philly that well, but I would think it would take you at least 10 minutes just to get out of the arena from ringside.
Yeah.
And into the parking lot.
Even if you're sprinting.
Yeah.
Dude, have you ever texted somebody already on the way that you're on the way, or text somebody that you're on the way, you're not, And that what you thought was just going to be a fudge of about 5 or 10 minutes is actually like, holy shit, I sent that 42 minutes ago.
40 minutes, yeah, exactly, yeah. It's like, I'm on the way, and they're like, don't even have your pants on. And it's like...
That's bad. That's bad.
So, their plan is that they're going to, they're just going to go from one to the other. They're going to go back and forth, spend a little bit of time at one, then go to the other, and then go back and forth. And... So we cut to the match. This was filmed at an actual WWF house show that took place at the Spectrum in Philly. And we get to see Brother Love, a.k.a. Bruce Pritchard, who had not been on WWF television since 1991.
Pretty weird. Pretty weird. I thought Brother Love was a little newer than that, but certainly wasn't current.
Well, and there was an episode of Something to Wrestle With. Bruce actually talked about this episode, and he was saying that one of the producers of Boy Meets World was a big fan of Brother Love, and had asked Bruce if he would play that character, just because, like he wasn't currently on the TV, but the guy that the fact that Bruce just so happened to be the one setting up the logistics behind the episode. As the WWF contact person at the time, had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bruce Pritchard likes for his face to be on TV, so I feel like that was a big part of it.
Do you want Brother Love on the episode? They're like,
if you ever listen to like What Happened When, Tony Schiavone he takes the good and the bad.
Yeah.
If it was shit, he would like. If you ever listen to Something to Wrestle About. All the good things were Bruce Pritchard's idea, and all the bad things he can't really remember those as well. Who was responsible for that? Come on, Conrad.
I don't remember who I was in the room at the time, but yeah,
this was 30 years ago, Conrad.
That's one of my favorite things about Eric Bischoff, and
Sell a House.
It was at 83 weeks. And he's
83 weeks.
He's just he owns it. He owns all of the douchebaggery and the bad decisions and everything. He's such an introspective guy.
Yeah, but Bischoff has always known who he is.
The complete opposite of Bruce Pritchard, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bruce Pritchard, and I understand it, probably simplified a lot of variables for him to have the producer, at the time, active producer, who also is known on camera to the older audience, who could go on, be a big visual wrestling character, and also come back and do the ADR shit that they needed for the commentary.
Yeah.
And it all kind of makes sense. So I understand one-stop shop kind of shit.
And if you look, you can see also ringside is Gerald Briscoe.
Yes.
So that's another fun little...
Yeah, if you watch ringside, Brother Love and Briscoe never sync up. That's not the right audio. They pieced everything together as they went.
Vader makes his entrance with Frankie, Cory, and Shawn, and Brother Love announces them by name.
Yeah.
Which and introduces them as Vader's special advisors. It's funny because they just get in the ring and start hot dogging like fucking like they're, I don't know, it's ridiculous. They get in the ring like Lucha House Party or something.
Yeah, they get in the ring the way that WWE hopes children will get in the ring when they bring them into the ring, but they don't. They're too terrified.
And yeah, it makes me wonder, because this is Philly, like it makes me wonder if, because you don't really hear the crowd reaction, or you don't really hear the crowd much at all. It makes me wonder if they were just booing the shit out of this.
Yes. Oh my god,
Philly crowd.
They were for sure.
They start throwing like batteries and like Ziploc bags full of piss and like.
Well, there are mentions. There are mentions in the WWE and Jacob's interview that the crowd did not react favorably the longer that it went on. At first they were like, "Why aren't we getting our wrestling match? Who are these kids? What are all these cameras? This is a house show." And then I want to say, this is not confirmed or anything, but I want to say they filmed the dance in front of a crowd and got such a horrible reaction that they then went back and did it in an empty arena. Because there are allusions to, who they're expecting wrestling, and they're seeing two kids dancing in the ring. They stopped the show for two kids dancing in the ring. That's not what we got at the end of the episode. But so I feel like there was a pivot at one point.
I like, Ethan Suplee gets in the ring and they're just like, what's Bastion Booger doing here? That's time.
Oh, the Godwin's return.
Yeah. Jake the Snake does not care for Cory and Shawn's pandering, and he proceeds to bust out his albino snake, whose name is Revelations.
Yeah.
To scare them out of the ring, which that would work for me. It would not just be that it was a snake. It would be that, like, 1996 Jake the Snake was anywhere near it.
You're not up to date on your vaccinations is the worry.
Yeah. That is I would imagine, like, if he went through a door before me, I would, like, try to kind of pull it open with my foot.
Oh,
like,
no. Yeah, you're much
Try
worried.
to squeeze in as it's closing.
Go into the bathroom
real
after him.
fast.
It's like a soccer game. I'm not going to touch anything with my hands. I'm going to be turning the hand washer on with my head. Like,
Yeah,
dude.
If anyone out
I saw
there...
Beyond the Mat, man. This is pre-yoga. This dude is greasy.
If anyone out there ever had the opportunity to take a bite from either an albino Burmese python that's probably eaten lab rats from the pet store, or Jake the Snake Robert, you're
Jake the
definitely going to get a
Snake.
bacterial infection from old Jake. I think.
That is the one snake I was the most afraid of.
Yeah,
Jake.
what's the deadliest snake in the United States? The Snake Roberts.
Yeah.
That's-
Jake
The Snake Roberts.
Jake bit me and I'm immediately addicted to meth. Like, we can make these jokes because he got his shit together.
I love him.
That's
Yeah, I
true.
love him.
Yeah, he got his shit together, so we can have these jokes now.
Oh,
like if
damn
he
it.
hadn't, it wouldn't be as much fun.
No, I wouldn't make
But,
these
like, yeah.
jokes. Not on
DDP
record.
Yoga saved that dude's life, so good for him, man.
Thank you, DDP.
Yep. So yeah, the match gets going, and our kind of caper is afoot.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible. From the get go, it gets
Yep.
stressful, and I hate it. They get to where do they start? Do they start at the
well,
show, right?
They start at the
started
show,
the show,
and then run to
and
the dance.
I appreciate that when they go to leave the first time, Frankie asks them where they're going, and they say they're going to get programs so they can tell the players apart.
It was so many things.
And Frankie literally goes, "It's my dad and not my dad." Like, what are you guys? Like, how hard can it be to tell his father apart from not his father?
Like, I feel like this is one of those tests you give a girl in your relationship, even though it is her sweet 16 party. If she doesn't understand the magnitude of being ringside,
Ringside in the ring, even
WWF.
yeah, the
that's a
commentary,
once in a lifetime opportunity.
the commentary's
We'll turn
talking about
16
you.
again.
Yeah. You're like literally on the television. Like, this should be something that's like, okay, I understand, I have these friends from school, we'll sit around, we'll have a good time, and then you come to the dance after, we'll have our
Also-
special time. Yeah.
You really think a wrestling match would be on at a 16-year-old Sweet 16 party? Like, that was weird to me.
No, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, so the way they're able to monitor the situation when they're not at the show, like Skylar said, there's a small television mounted crudely in the corner of the dance hall or wherever the hell they are, and it's showing this what should be a house match.
A
house show.
dark match. Yeah.
Dark match on a house show, and but for some reason it's televised. It's got commentary. It's got everything you could ask for, and great quality.
And they immediately just abandoned their conventions because the whole concept here was that they couldn't spend more than 75 seconds at each location. When Cory goes to see Topanga at the dance this time, he is there for about 13 seconds.
He's a real dick to Topanga.
In and out. And then I just imagine him just sprinting down like the fucking interstate. Just like just full bore running through the parking lot. Having to show his
car.
Yeah, having to show his tickets to 15
Yeah, I
different
was gonna say, how
security
do you get
guards.
in so fast?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. How do you get back
Yeah.
in?
Imagine
It
how
won't
long
work.
it would take you. Imagine how long it took us at Double or Nothing, like just to go to the bathroom and come
t-shirt.
back. Yeah, go get a T-shirt.
I didn't even
Fuck
go to
me.
the bathroom because
We stood in line for 45 minutes to get a fucking T-shirt that said I was there when we weren't
Yeah.
there. We were standing outside waiting to get a
We
T-shirt.
missed part of the fucking show we were there to see, so we could get a shirt that
people-
said we saw the show.
People started cheering.
missed
We're
that.
like, what's happening? We're like, I don't know, man. There's 80 people in
It's
front of
'cause
me and these
Kong
shirts are
returned.
selling out. Like, I can't.
Kong
like,
returned, that's what it was.
I have to have proof that I was there.
Yeah, the memories are not enough. But this shit it gets old with me quickly with this back and forth stuff. This is yet another.
If anything, it's a tired trope. It's been done so many. I mean, they even take the opportunity to point out, a better version of it, which is the Fred Flintstone Pebbles christening Water Buffalo Lodge episode, which we're going to be doing next week.
Yeah, that's coming soon.
Stay tuned. That's some Patreon content.
But so like you said, he's spending maybe 10 seconds at a time with Topanga. He comes back in just for enough time to chide her for not being, he's gaslighting this poor girl.
He is 100% gaslighting her,
and she's on her sister, and like missing the party is one thing. Mentally damaging this poor girl in her sweet 16 is a completely other situation.
Yeah, he's real fucked up, Cory.
He's like, I've been trying to find you. Where have you been? When it's like it's a 40-foot by 40-foot room, well lit room that they're in.
I'm not lying.
There's not a lot of people there. Yeah.
Yeah, take stock of the room. It's a beautifully diverse ABC picked crowd. It looks like the kids from Barney grew up. Everybody's represented. You would see Ben Savage walking into there looking around. It's a terrible lie.
Yeah, back in the ring, Cory suggests to Vader that Vader counter the DDT. Wow, what sage advice! I'm glad they brought him along.
Not even counter the DDT. They just told him it exists. He's going to look for he's setting up for the DDT. He's always setting up for the. Who's not set up for the DDT? That's a face lock.
I want to know if they actually sold Vader masks at events where Vader was. Because I want one of those Vader masks. Because that thing looks pretty cool.
His was smushing his nose real hard. That was fucking...
I feel like his face was always going, like, just... It's like when, like, pressed ham trying to just work its way out of that thing.
It's like a pug. That's why he breathed that way.
I like that at one point they come back to the party and they both... Cory still has his mask on. And Sean just, like... kind of lets him walk in a little bit before he points it out. Like, it was kind of a little fun dick move.
Yeah, Sean's an asshole.
And, like, nobody notices at any point during this event that they're on the TV.
Yeah, I thought they were using that television to monitor the situation, on purpose. Like, did they turn the... Like, no big deal, guys. I know this isn't my party. I'm just going to turn this TV on. Have you ever...
Yeah.
Have you ever seen
I like the idea, like...
Have you ever
they're
seen
like
that
cranking the
move
volume up over
in
the
like
music?
in like a doctor's office? Somebody's like, well, I'm going to take control of this situation. And they'll just go up and put it on what they want. It's like, man, what a man. Look at that guy.
Sports Center.
He'll do it.
Yeah. Are you guys watching this? Fuck that. I'm gonna put on Teen Titans.
All right, I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna put it on these motorbikes racing on the Speed Channel for 3 hours. That's cool.
Hold on. You guys get Cinemax? Oh yeah, let's see.
No, it's like at a Chinese restaurant.
Shoe Diaries.
At a Chinese restaurant one time. This kid, I know this has nothing to do with anything. This kid was watching cartoons.
Tell us the story.
And he grabs the remote. And he's going through things, and he lands on one of the soap operas when soap operas can push it for their sex scenes.
They get racing.
And he landed on it, and he peeked over the little partition to see if anybody noticed. Like, he was like, well, I'm just going to check this out. If nobody's paying attention, they're not going to notice this isn't Dragon Tales anymore.
Speaking of Boy Meets World, he was learning.
Yeah, he met the world that day. Good for him. Wonder whatever happened to him.
In front of his little plate of French fries at a Mexican restaurant because it's on the kids' meal.
It's a Chinese restaurant, you racist.
Okay, damn it.
Just picture one non-white child. Is that what you did?
Yeah, I did. Yep. Sitting in front of a plate.
I didn't even mention the kid could have been white. I didn't say.
I made my assumptions. I saw him in my head and I went with it.
All the Chinese restaurants in Arkansas are staffed by Hispanic folks. That's a safe assumption.
Exclusively, yeah. That's As Cory and Sean leave, which is great, like, as they're leaving Topanga's party to go back, the DJ cues up, like, a slow song version of Happy Birthday, and everybody pairs off to dance to it, except for Topanga. Nobody's there to dance with her.
Like, that one didn't make any sense. He was literally like, go turn your song on, and then immediately darted out the door.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
He's like, now go play the song, you dumb bitch. And then when she goes to do it, he just runs out the door.
By changing the tone just a little bit, he is horribly abusive. He's like, well, I've been looking for you this whole time. If you'll go and do your song, we can have your dance.
Yeah.
Like,
just do your dumb little song.
The fucking Zach Morris Sucks YouTube channel.
Zach Morris is trash.
There needs to be a Cory Sucks fucking channel.
Oh, God, he's the worst.
Cory Matthews is trash.
And I think that was originally Neil Sedaka. Neil Sedaka has a Happy Birthday Sweet 16, but the tempo's all off.
I thought you were going to say it originally was Neil Sedaka is trash. Was the that was the college humor video. So back in the ring, Vader gets DDT'd and then he gets clothesline out of the ring.
Oh, but we have to pull attention to the fact that once Cory did, basically call for the special dance, it's time. Topanga goes and gets the dance that starts playing. She turns around, he's gone, and she stands there like the saddest little girl in the world. And it ripped my
so sad. Heart. She could turn on those puppy dog eyes.
I'm surprised how is some dude not swooping in? How is some guy not saying, "Hey, Topi, I'm here. Let's dance. Let's make this a special night."
She just turns around and Minkus is like, "What's up?"
Minkus should have shot his shot that night.
Yeah, Chanel West Coast should have made him. But
you leave both.
I can say, not for nothing, but I was at the age where I was, Danielle Fishel was ticking those boxes.
Dude, I was a baby child and she was ticking the boxes.
I was gonna say you were 6.
Yep.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Pull the trigger and just a flag comes out that says "bang."
It was Pink Ranger Topanga.
There you go.
Okay.
You got
wow,
Amy. Was her Amy Jo Johnson?
Amy Jo Johnson.
Amy Jo Johnson. Lola Bunny for me. I'd throw in. Don't judge me about it. Danielle Fishel, and since she's technically older than me, so this is not creepy to say. Darla from the 1993 Little Rascals movie. That was like my earliest loves.
Okay.
I don't know why I listed them all, but I had to.
Steve, here's Ryan's top 5 women he'd throw it all away for. It's just the way that Darla crushed that can.
We've been recording too long now.
A young possum.
She broke my heart, man. Waldo Aloysius Johnston III. Man, he's a horrible guy. Anyway, move it. Give it off me.
So, yeah, okay. Vader gets knocked out of the ring, and Frankie, he needs a tip from Cory. But Cory's all out of tips. If you're keeping score at home, Cory has had 1 tips.
Well, yeah.
1 tips.
If you're talking about tonight, yeah, it's basically just look out. Look out for the DDT.
Look out.
But Frankie gets honest, man, and he says he loves his dad. And that's enough to Hulk Vader up.
Mm-hmm.
He says, even if you don't win tonight, you're still the champion of my heart. And that's all it takes sometimes.
Everybody knows that the love of a son is second only to anabolic steroids for its ability to power you up. It's like snorting a line of creatine.
It can work in the opposite direction also. It can work against you, as we saw in Ready to Rumble. When Oliver Platt's son betrayed him, and it almost ruined his chances. So that's a double-edged sword, guys. You gotta watch out.
That's true.
You gotta be real careful, if you're the king. So finally, Vader gets in and he gets the win with a Vader bomb.
Who'd have thunk it? And it was as slow as any other Vader bomb we've ever seen.
Yeah, it's amazing to think that this one match took as long as an entire Sweet 16 party.
Yeah,
and they had time to clean up after the Sweet 16 party, too.
There's no way Vader wrestled for 5 hours.
It was a 5-hour match. All right, folks, that's been WrestleMania. We'll see you next year. It's been 1 match. Vader versus Jake the Snake. And the winner gets to wrestle Shawn Michaels for the title. Vader just showed up and gave Skylar a heart attack in the back.
Yeah. He came to give me some more coffee. Because it's super sweet.
So finally, Cory gets back to the party, and the party is over. Topanga is there alone. And she asks him how the fight's going, and points at the TV. Because Topanga is not dumb.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And
says
Topanga
after
probably... realized early on.
Yeah, after you walked across the middle of a dance floor in the 45 cumulative seconds you were here earlier and turned on that wrestling match, we all kind of noticed it from then on. And it was very loud.
Yeah, someone pointed.
The music isn't drowning it out completely, so yeah, we noticed.
Yeah, the TV is playing a replay of Vader's celebration with Cory and Shawn in the middle of the ring as they're having their hands raised by Vader while Frankie is off to the side because these guys only care about themselves. Cory and Shawn only care about themselves. This whole thing was supposed to be for Frankie, and they're in the ring hot dogging, going into business for themselves.
This is when we really needed New Jack.
Trying to get themselves over. Yeah, this is when Natural Born Killers started playing, and New Jack came out with a pizza cutter. Just started slicing. anytime white people get too ahead of themselves, New Jack will be there.
Could you, Matt, if you just started, you said something too messed up, and then you just started hearing the gangsters music start playing randomly in a Walmart? You're just like, wait, what?
Like, yeah. So you know, they happen to look up at the TV as Frankie's finally able to celebrate with his father. Cory apologizes that they weren't able to have their special dance in front of everybody, still missing the point. Not understanding that this had nothing to do with anybody else, and only was like how disappointed he had left Topanga. He sucks.
And Topanga's a
yeah.
really nice, understanding girl.
Yeah.
I feel like if he would have been like, "Hey, I'm trying to help this guy connect with his father," she'd be like, "You know what? Do it, Cory."
She would have gone there and been in the ring with him. She was a down ass bitch.
She was.
And she's a ride or die chick. Like, get you a Topanga, man. So Shawn tells Cory that Frankie still owes him a favor, even though that original favor was helping them with their poetry assignment. But because they're both selfish, they figure Frankie owes them, seeing as he not only connected with his father, but they also had a real small hand in him winning the match.
Yeah, and they also had full access to a WWF event like multiple times.
Oh yeah, you know they didn't pay for those tickets. You know they didn't pay. You know they got their shit comped. You know they didn't pay for those Vader masks. Take some Vader masks and some big foam W or V's. God damn it.
Yeah. Bruce Pritchard was like, "Here you go, boys. Enjoy.
Yeah. Have a whole bag." So from there, you know, they, like I said, they are still owed a favor somehow. And we cut to Topanga and Cory dancing in the middle of an empty arena in the middle of the ring, as Shawn and Frankie creepily look on. Because Shawn can't ever leave Cory's side, even when he's with his girlfriend.
Yeah, which I feel like is a terrible, way to repay Topanga, because it's not the same. It's not in front of her friends and family.
Yeah,
it's in front of an empty. It's in front of like 6 dudes that are waiting to tear down the ring. Honestly, they have to be in Wisconsin the next day. So you're standing there, just sort of dancing while these guys are waiting. It's like, okay, it's a 3-minute song, and you got to get out of the ring. It's awkward. No, horrible way to make it up.
They start to take it down, and then another song starts playing. Like, oh fuck.
Yeah, it'd be funny if you did see if you saw the ropes go slack. Kind of the background. It's like, all right, $50 only get you so far.
Yeah. They just turn the lights off. Some guy starts to. So as they're dancing, Vader decides it's a good time to show Frankie his new move, which is called the Vader Salt, which he's been doing for years.
Yeah, it's not new.
It's new in Boy Meets World canon.
And he tells Frankie that it's okay that he doesn't want to become a pro wrestler, which is the closest thing Frankie's going to get to his dad accepting him and his poetry.
Yeah.
So at the very end, we get it's Cory and Topanga dancing, and they just Cory just has Topanga take one step to your left, and Vader just moonsaults to nothing right in front of him, right onto his stomach.
Yeah. Watch Vader's face when he lands. He looks straight into the camera because they probably had to do it a couple times. I hope he didn't land weird. Maybe he looks straight into the camera as if to say, "Is that good?"
Well, and yeah, he doesn't sell the pain at all. And Frankie just goes, "All right, Dad." And this is as good because that's as good as it's ever gonna get for them.
Yeah. and everything's fixed.
He goes, "Yeah, son."
Yeah, that's our final parting shot. Is we have a jubilant Vader on the ground pumping his fist, and this 16-year-old couple back behind him.
Yeah, he's all ready for his big match against Shawn Michaels.
Jesus
and we
Christ.
will not discuss how that went.
Yeah, you know.
If you recall, that was the one where Vader didn't move and Shawn was just kicking him in the head, yelling at him that he was stupid.
Yeah.
It's sad. Not Vader's best moment. One of his best. He's better when he's getting his eye pulled out by Stan Hansen.
So you can...
or ripping Mankind's ear off.
So yeah, not a lot of help that advice was, Corey. You suck. Listen to the marks.
Well, that wouldn't happen if Cory was ringside during Shawn Michaels' match.
That's true. Solid.
Wow, he would have been like, "Watch out for that sweet chin music.
Watch out! Watch out for him kicking you in the head and calling you stupid. You better watch out for that."
Yeah. Don't be in the wrong place. And yeah, I will agree that I think these episodes, my enjoyment of them went in opposite order of us watching them. I enjoyed the first one the most. This one was definitely the most Vader-heavy episode and the most wrestling-centric episode. So I enjoyed it for that, and it was really cool that they did actually have it at a house show. It was like a real ring. It was a real match. It felt real. Like it did a lot of justice, and I felt like
real pissed Philly crowd.
Yeah, muted out Philly crowd. They're just gonna do the WWE thing and pipe in like cheers. But I really think like if you didn't know a lot about wrestling, that you could have watched this and it didn't come off like a joke. Wrestling to people who don't watch wrestling is just a joke. It's just a punchline, and I don't feel like they treated it quite like that. You know, I feel like they gave it a little bit of respect that it wouldn't have gotten anywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah,
like if this had been on Step by Step, it would have been a joke.
Yeah, they handled it in a different way, and that was noticeable, and it always has been. At least
that kid with the glasses.
They had the most fun. They had the most fun with the wrestlers and kind of let their personalities shine more than others. So I mean, it was a cool time in history, but like you said, it just got a little overly complicated as it went. You know, the fun of the first appearance of Vader with that wrestling match was kind of lost by the end of this Mrs. Doubtfire situation. Like, God almighty. I'm glad they kind of let it go.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun to see, like, this is such a slice of that time, such a slice of the 90s. You know, TGIF was a big part of those years, and actually being excited to, you know, sit down and watch like a block of shows, and, you know, like it's such a different era. You know, everything's like streaming and on demand now, and you know, like people don't even wear suits anymore.
You've gone to a movie theater. The way people are dressing these days, eat gas.
Police officers are getting shorter and younger.
So yeah, that's a fun part of wrestling history, I would say, and entertainment history abroad. So that's cool.
It is, and it's undeniably a shoot show.
Oh, it's a shoot show top to bottom.
But I mean, and this was one that, you know, like we kind of said at the top of the show, like we watched a lot of pay-per-views, and you know, eventually that as a format gets a little repetitive. So it's fun to kind of branch out and do things that, you know, even tacitly involve wrestling, because it's a world that we love, and we like to just see different sides of it. So, you know, and that being said, like going forward, we not gonna feel as bound to watching pay-per-views, and you know, we're gonna have fun doing stuff like this more often, and kind of really like feeling out the space of like what constitutes wrestling.
Yes, explore the space.
It, Thomas.
Yeah, we're gonna stretch that definition to its breaking point.
Absolutely. I mean, the ripple effects of wrestling and entertainment, just in general, go everywhere. You know, there's effects, and there'll be a lot of fun.
We're gonna watch all Ali boxing matches because he loved wrestling and got his persona.
That's all it'll take. That's all it'll take right there. So speaking of shoot shows to come, where do we go from here? You guys, I know, had some shit in the holster, and it sounded kind of interesting.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think we had talked about watching some Roadhouse.
Oh, did we do it? You want to do Roadhouse? Okay, there was some title of something I couldn't pronounce.
Oh, the Mill
Mascara.
Mascara.
We're doing that someday.
Mill
but
Massacre. Yeah, oh fuck yeah.
That sounds frightening.
But yeah, I think
looks terrible.
we all know that Roadhouse stars Terry Funk.
Stars Terry Funk. That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly
I didn't even know it was in the movie.
You bastard.
It features Patrick Swayze, but Terry Funk is the star.
Yeah.
Obviously.
You put some respect on Swazi.
Hey, you'll find no bigger Swayze fan in this group.
Yeah,
than
we're all
sitting right
Swayze
here.
crazy. Yeah.
But let me tell
Yeah.
you, the star of
The
that
Outsiders.
is that show is not, or that movie is not Patrick Swayze. It is in fact the Funker, and all of the '80s boobs you could ask for. There's '80s hair.
There's boobs in it?
Oh, there's cocaine, Skylar. There's cocaine.
Oh my god!
And
we're
if
watching.
you
Can
think-
we record tomorrow?
If you think you've seen Patrick Swayze's ass,
Boy,
you have not.
You
You're
have-
going to see some Patrick Swayze butt cheeks.
you're gonna see
Oh my
a lot of
I might
solid
I might
butt.
watch
You
this
might
a
not.
couple times.
You
Man
might
and
not want to let Lulu watch this, Skylar, because once she sees those
She'll
sweet,
make me-
sweet PSBCs, it's all over.
Boy, when he's doing Tai Chi by that pond.
Yeah, just butt ass naked, man, and then he puts on jeans with no kind of underwear.
And
Like,
he's so
Oh, that's
cool.
just
Oh
gonna.
my God.
This is
so cool.
we're blowing our load here.
He's
Alright, guys,
His
let's-
name
We'll
is
save
Dalton.
this. We'll save it.
Dude, I've seen
Yeah.
that movie so many times. Tyler's only seen
I've
it once.
honestly never
Skylar's
watched it.
not seen it, or
all right, the pants are coming off, boys.
All right, it's gonna
this
be-
is gonna
it's
be a
I got coffee on
pantsless
me again.
shoot show.
yeah, we thought it was going to get a little uncomfortable with Danielle Fishel on topic,
You
but
guys
it's
recorded
actually going to be
pants on?
Patrick Swayze that puts us there. So,
You know,
have that to look forward
I have missed this. I can't tell you how enjoyable it's been to sit back down and shoot the ridiculous shit with you boys.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is cathartic and therapeutic, and I hope for the listener or listeners, you missed us. You enjoy hearing us back. We hope that you'll go with us on this journey as we kind of walk around the outskirts of wrestling and just say silly things.
Yeah, man,
that's
we
what
got
we
to
do
find
best.
the weird stuff. We got to find the uncomfortables and the funnies.
We love you,
gotta
Thomas.
find
We've
obscure
missed you,
wrestling shows.
Thomas. We hope married life's treating you well, Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
It's treating
Sorry,
me great.
I stuttered so much tonight. I was nervous. It's been a while.
One day that'll be a tier on our Patreon. That'll be the Thomas tier. It'll be the very top.
If you can get up onto the Thomas wall.
Yeah, you made it,
that's
man.
how
You're
you-
on the Rushmore. But yeah, until next week when we stop in over at the was it the Lobo? Oh gosh, the Long
God.
Branch.
Wow, I
that's
thought you've seen it a
Gunsmoke.
million
I have
times.
seen it and I'm blanking on it. Oh, damn, I got to dig myself out of a hole already.
Embarrassing.
So
It's called the bar is called the Titty Twister.
the titty. That's what you go there for. That's what keeps you there. You go there for the beer, stay for the titty twist. But next week we're gonna check out some Roadhouse, and we do hope you join
Yes.
us. Until then, keep up with us
Yes.
on all the social medias and such: Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Search That Shoot Show, not That Shoot Show, The Shoot Show, and you'll find us. Or call That Shoot Show hotline 4132 I shoot. We've been
that
memeing
shit.
hard here lately. Not hard, but harder. So yeah, keep up with us. We have fun sometimes. Nobody I've tagged as far as wrestling or names has replied to it. I was hoping to start some heat with Eddie
I
Kingston.
feel like they see that name and they're like, nah, I'm not. I'm
yeah,
not
Eddie
responding
Kingston
to this.
can be the time of day. I understand.
Ugh.
But, all right, guys. Until next week, we'll see you.
Yes, sir. Good talking to you, boys.
See you guys.
Later, guys.